Alright, so today we're going to be looking at Dr. Bright loses his spark. All the links to the original channel and video are going to be down in the description below, so go ahead and make sure that you check them out. As you can probably really tell, my voice is still kind of recovering. It gets better and gets worse, and now it's kind of just fluctuating. But I feel pretty good today. Enough today to be able to make a reaction. I figured try to look into Dr. Bright, see if I can get something to make me laugh. I don't know if this is a continuation of the 50 things that Dr. Bright is not allowed to do, but if it's got Dr. Bright, I'm always down. So without wasting too much more time, let's go ahead and get right into the video.
Good day everyone and welcome back to SCP Illustrated, entry log 100. Yep, this video marks 100 data entries, and also coincidentally, this video marks 1 year that I've been working on this channel full time, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, to celebrate 100 entries, I have done a special Dr. Bright video for you all that looks at a number of the SCPs that I've covered over the last few years. It doesn't cover all of them, and the rules are not wiki legit, it's just a bit of fun. It's an excuse for us all just to kit back and forget about all the seriousness for a bit, and just have a muse over some of Dr. Bright's absurd shenanigans. Just so you know, this video contains blood, violence, drug use, partial nudity, bad language, self-destruction, and some erotic fanfiction. Without further ado, let's begin.
Okay, so just like he said also, I mean, it's supposed to be funny, just have a laugh, and so anything I say as well is just going to be not to be taken seriously. Yeah.
The following data release has been authorised by the following council members and administration staff.
Did I say SCP-682? Huh.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to send D-Class personnel through the SCP-2935 cave in the hope of annihilating the fuckers who gave 682 back to us. Genocide on a worldwide scale is not okay. Dr. Bright is not allowed to claim that the D-Class that destroyed SCP-1983 was the original inspiration for Doomguy.
I mean, it'd make for a pretty interesting story, right? And also, when he said that they gave us back, kill the fuckers, annihilate the fuckers who gave us back 682, like, did they actually manage to get rid of them at least at one point, maybe?
Dr. Bright is not allowed to use SCP-2385 to educate anybody on the birds and the bees. Dr. Bright is not allowed to encase SCP-173 in lead, steel or concrete in a vain attempt to contain him. He'll break out eventually. He always does. Dr. Bright is not allowed to use the Gate Guardian to dispose of anything. Previous transgressions have included his old fridge, a written-off car, barrels of radioactive waste, annoying D-Class personnel, dark matter, antimatter, and several other forms of matter that are unknown because Bright destroyed them.
I forgot when I actually saw the video on 001, or at least this version, the Gate Guardian. I was because like I understand that he can like just immediately destroy things, right? But I don't remember if it's just like he breaks everything down to like the atom level, or maybe even breaks it past that somehow, right? And then like it's just, whatever it is, it's just completely gone.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to throw SCP-432 into the sea with the doors open. Dr. Bright is not allowed to sell tickets to see the shadows of the dead. Dr. Bright is not allowed to refer to SCP-2521 as any of the following: Long-Armed Lenny, Ribbon Ryan, Slivery Stephen, or Tentacles Tommy. Dr. Bright is not allowed to spread rumours of a planet covered in SCP-173. Dr. Bright is also not allowed to scare the D-Class into believing they will go there if they disobey orders.
Okay, so there's a couple of videos here and there that sometimes I watch and don't make a reaction for, and then once I watch it, damn, this could have made such a great reaction video. But I always want to keep it to a point where it's like it's always my first time looking at it, because then it really focuses me to really just think of things as far as like what comes to mind, like right, like a first real hand experience. Because then I feel like if you do it after you've heard a scene and you know what to expect, I feel like at that moment it just, in my opinion, to me it just doesn't feel right for me. That's why a lot of times you see me kind of stammering, stumbling over my own words. But I saw a video. I don't remember what was the name of it. but it was something that 682 was actually, that there was a whole bunch of them on a planet, and that they actually ended up getting wiped out except for him by 173s, right? And that apparently there's some very old entity that just goes around killing, right? And I don't know if this one is trying to, the one that's in the SCP universe, or like on Earth, is trying to finish the job, or kind of what's going on there, but I thought it was an interesting concept, right? And then that's why the somehow it related to 682 having to consistently adapt. Don't know if that's how he got his powers. I mean, it's been a while.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to use SCP-162 to create his own Lucille from The Walking Dead. Dr. Bright is not allowed to shoot SCP-3000 with a spear gun, not even a huge spear gun, or a chainsaw cannon, or any kind of weapon for that fact. Dr. Bright is not allowed to utilise SCP-718 as a way of seeing out the back of his own head. Besides the clear containment breach, it's downright creepy. Dr. Bright is not allowed to use D-Class personnel as a way of playing fetch with SCP-1111-1.
Okay, obviously there's a lot of SCPs here that I'm kind of missing just because I haven't seen them yet or haven't heard of them yet, but this one has me intrigued just because it's a dog.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to do anything in regards to SCP-835. Chainsaw cannons are still not the answer to everything.
I remember this one. So from the first one, how would that... I think he even said it in the video where he showed it, where I think it was something like he doesn't know how it's even going to come out picture-wise, right? Because, like, how would you... I mean, the picture that they have in the first video down here in the bottom left-hand corner is a good representation. I mean, it looks like a good photo. But just thinking of it, how it would look... I mean, technically, it would only... No, it's just the whole chainsaw, actually, just from the picture. Yeah, I in my mind can't even comprehend how exactly that would work. I wonder if anybody would actually try to make one. Although, it might be unfeasible. Granted, you'd probably only be able to load one. So it'd probably be like a... kind of just like a launcher. And extremely heavy.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to do any of the following to SCP-682. Drop him into a black hole. Drop him into the sun. Drop him into Earth's core. Drop him down SCP-2915. Launch him into space. Or launch him at SCP-2399.
As far as, I mean, a lot of those things, from obviously, I remember that he can eat anything, right? And then grow in size, and that it's very indefinite as far as how big he actually grows, to the point maybe he can even eat planets. So I think the black hole one, though, doesn't sound like too much of a bad idea. I mean, I don't think it would be possible for him to eat a black hole. And I don't even know technically what black holes really do, besides from what little knowledge I do know, is that it just breaks everything in that goes inside it. And that I think there was a theory, although this was like back when I was in high school, where I heard about this, where people were saying, at least back then, because someone did a project on it, and I think her general consensus was that no one really knows, at least back then, and that some people have theorized that there's a white hole, which is where it kind of like a teleportation type thing, right? Like you go through the black hole, come out the white hole, or there's just nothing in there, and it's like the universe is like trash thingy that's in the sink that destroys everything, like the food that's in there. Garbage disposal? Food disposal? God, I'm having such a hard time with it. The thing in the sink that breaks the food. I'll leave it at that.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to chain D-Class personnel to SCP-682's tail. There is absolutely no logical reason for this. Dr. Bright is not allowed to read SCP-682 bedtime stories. Dr. Bright is not allowed to ride SCP-682. He's a psychopathic homicidal beast, not a horse.
Aren't they both, kind of? I mean, Dr. Bright's scenario is a little more understandable. Granted, he's going from people to people, but then again, don't know exactly how long 682's been alive, so he has a lot of time to warp how he thinks, if that makes sense.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to use SCP-184 to make anything bigger. Your infant desk drawer contains several dangerous objects which are now on the loose. Dr. Bright is not allowed to give object classes to his own body parts. Dr. Bright is not allowed to have a sing-off with SCP-2915. Dr. Bright is not allowed to project images of SCP-096 anywhere ever again. That business with SCP-173 was a disaster. Dr. Bright is not allowed to feed chocolate or any kind of confectionery to SCP-682, especially a chocolate fountain that doubles as a swarm of carnivorous ants. Dr. Bright is not allowed to make any kind of meat product out of SCP-610. Least of all, then sell it to those factories where they make those cheap ready meals. Dr. Bright is not allowed to do...
Wait, factories as in the factory? Or like just like your regular meal, like the type of thing that you would probably buy at a store? I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that just because I don't even want to know.
anything to SCP-999. Leave it be. Dr. Bright is not allowed to play the board game Operation of SCP-049. It's not enrichment, it's stupid, and SCP-049 has said several times he finds it demeaning. Dr. Bright is not allowed to serve SCP-1678-D in the cafeteria. You're also not allowed to have SCP-1678-A specimens as your own bodyguards. Dr. Bright is not allowed to wear SCP-035 to any Halloween parties. In fact, just not at all.
Ooh, how would that work out though? Like, who would be the one in control, right? Now, 035, from what I do remember, I think it was the Hanged King, where it could either be one of those four lords that was in that one other place, Agaraba, I'm not even gonna try, in that other place, or he can be, was it made by one of the Greek gods, I think it was, in his own video. But then again, he's been known to be a liar, so you never really know what's true and what's not. So you don't really know how powerful he is, although he obviously has quite a bit. Now, as far as the amulet for Dr. Bright, I don't know if it would maybe surpass that. So interesting to see if there was a scenario where this actually did happen, just to kind of see who would have be the one in control. And honestly, I feel like they would kind of have the same personality and mesh pretty well.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to refer to SCP-1048 creations as his minions. Sorry Bright, but you're not allowed your own Japanese cosplay raptor from SCP-1472. Dr. Bright is not allowed to get baked until I can see the fourth dimension with the fake SCP-4099. Dr. Bright is not allowed to terminate SCPs with a bomb vest. Admittedly though, you've done us all a favour by terminating SCP-1155. Dr. Bright is not allowed to fund a space program just so he can give roses to SCP-179. The only thing colder than the emptiness of space was the rejection you got from her. Worse still, she pointed at you. She identified you as a threat to Earth.
I could see that. I could see that pretty well. She's a Thaumiel too. Huh. I have to check her out though.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to authorise any SCP-682 termination attempts which involve SCP-106. That would most likely result in a breach of secrecy, a possible XK, and a certain containment breach. The damage and number of casualties are incalculable. Dr. Bright is not allowed to make origami dragons and hang them from fishing line. Too soon, Bright. Too soon. Dr. Bright is not the leader of the Shark Punching Center. He is not the Shark Punching King. Sharks do not fear him, and he is not the oncoming storm of the shark world.
Okay, so I've heard that with the Shark Punching Center, it's more of a, I guess, like a meme type group. Like it wasn't one to be taken seriously. I mean, obviously, Shark Punching Center, right? The oncoming storm, though. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt if he would be behind it. Even though it says that he's not the leader, technically, you know, I mean, I could see him being the leader, at least.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to swim in SCP-354. Actually, you know what? Go for it. Maybe something will eat you. Dr. Bright is not allowed to bribe furry enthusiasts with SCP-3660. Dr. Bright is not allowed to put any paper-based SCPs through a paper shredder. All researchers assigned to SCP-12 stand by for allocation to a new project.
Dr. Bright successfully neutralised SCP-096 with a mirror. Huh. Why did none of us think of that?
Would that work? I mean, have they ever tried it? I mean, obviously here, but this is this is for funnies. And I'm not even sure if the 096 can actually see, or if he just goes off, somehow can find this person somehow, right? I mean, because obviously it doesn't matter where he's at. If someone sees his face, he just goes straight to them, right? Somehow. I don't remember if there was ever a reason. I think it's just kind of one of those things that's just what it is, what it does. But I mean, this would be very interesting to see at least what kind of effect it would have had on itself.
Dr. Bright is to join us in the sunlight, so we can all be together again. Come back to us, Bright.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to impersonate the Smiling Man to scare SCP-507.
Okay, I specifically remember the Smiley Man because of 507. And that's just messed up, man. This Dimension Hopper, man, from what I do remember about him, he's been through a lot. I can only imagine the type of more mental scarring. Obviously, he could die, but I feel like the mental scarring, especially if you keep surviving, you know, I mean, you could be taking a dump and all of a sudden, you boom, teleported. Taking a shower, you're naked, boom, teleported. Sleeping, teleported. Probably you think you're still dreaming, but no. But if they were to manage to find a way for him to be able to control it, not only would it help him, at least not get put in a situation that he doesn't want to be in, but also, more likely than not, help the SCP Foundation quite considerably.
That's just mean. Dr. Bright is not allowed to hit any annoying SCPs with any kind of sports equipment. Researchers working with SCP-079 prepare for reassignment. Dr. Bright is not allowed to ring SCP-513 to announce lunch break. Dr. Bright is not allowed to enter SCP-3008 just to experience infinite meatballs.
It would be interesting to kind of see. Honestly, you know what? Probably don't send him in there because I feel like he would kind of flourish in that type of environment, or he would really enjoy it and probably not want to leave.
He just hosed down SCP-469 with acid and radiation. It's dead.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to take selfies with SCP-1424 for easy likes, shares and retweets. Dr. Bright is not allowed to tame SCP-939 specimens into his own pets. They are not dogs, they are not doggos, they have nothing to do with McDonald's or ketchup. Dr. Bright is not allowed to graffiti the walls with any of the MTF field code symbols. You're lucky you weren't shot by the MTF after you put all those symbols up followed by the don't trust the symbols symbol.
Dr. Bright and Volga just took SCP-1689 to Northern Ireland. I don't think we'll be getting that back anytime soon.
A endless bag of potatoes. Learn new SCPs every day. And wait a minute, is that how the Volgan actually looks? See, he's a man of culture, I see.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to do anything, or to go anywhere near, or have anything to do with SCP-1471, ever.
Hold on, okay, I just realized what these pictures were blurred out. Okay, so this is the erotic.
Also, you're not allowed to email this kind of artwork to anyone either. Dr. Bright is not allowed to take SCP-2295 to Build-A-Bear again. You've successfully traumatized the poor thing.
SCP-973 reclassed. Neutralized.
While it may or may not be true that Dr. Bright served alongside 051 in the siege of the factory, Dr. Bright is not allowed to use the Finders Keepers rule on any of the artifacts. Just because you were there does not mean you can own a finger-breaking hammer.
Wait, all that for Hammer? Also, I don't remember him being at the factory. Or maybe he was, but I think that video was quite a few months ago. Yeah. So, I mean, he could have been there, though.
We've no idea how he did it, but Dr. Bright appears to have somehow fired Jupiter's moon, Io, at SCP-2399. Long story short, 2399 has been neutralized.
Dr. Bright is not allowed to attach any of the following to SCP-131A and B. Smoke grenades, tear gas, flares, laughing gas bombs, stink bombs, audio recordings of SCP-096 screaming, audio recordings of SCP-682 saying pathetic, foghorns, reindeer antlers, tennis balls, or anything else for that matter. Just let them do their thing. Dr. Bright is not allowed to take SCP-049 and SCP-096 from containment for couples therapy sessions. Dr. Bright is not allowed to use SCP-053 as a human shield against SCP-682. And Dr. Bright is not allowed to impersonate an SCP-1861-B instance so he can stage a coup and take control of the submarine for his own purposes.
Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. Now, I think this was kind of like somewhat of a continuation, although I don't know what part we actually land on as far as like things he's not allowed to do. Or maybe he thinks he's just done, because that's what it kind of seemed. A lot of this was saying that he shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, like is not allowed to bring. So I was thinking that this probably part of that series. So I don't know if I just went out of order, although I do see another one, just like kind of right now off to the side that does mention another video. So hopefully this one is before that one. If not, I'll just go at it as I go. But there was some interesting ones, specifically also with this one, right? As far as like 035 and Dr. Bright, just to kind of see. Obviously, I said it during the video, like who would be in control. Obviously, at a certain point, because I know both of them end up destroying the person, right? That they are on, and kind of curious to see who would destroy each other. Well, maybe not each other, but like at least the person first, right? There was also the part about I don't know if I can find it right now, but it was with 096 and actually putting a mirror in front of him. I don't remember hearing anything about that in the actual video, and it would just be like an interesting thing to see maybe it tries to kill itself, or maybe it just genuinely has no effect. Also, I did see Dr. Sumerian right here as well. So you had him, and we had the Volgan here right here. So I thought that was pretty cool having them in the actual video. And to kind of end things off, going back to the beginning, right, when it says annihilating the fuckers who gave us 682 back, 2935. I think this was the one. It was a little complicated, and just to make a long story short, was that as soon as people went in, one of the MTF guys had seen himself from like a different reality, and that they knew that they couldn't come back. Otherwise, they would bring whatever was affecting them back to their reality. So in order to make that not happen, I believe it was that they suicided and something like that, right? And because when they had crossed over going through the cave, everybody and everything was dead. Even 682 was dead. So I don't know how they would have given him back. But in any case, it's definitely in one of my reactions. If this is the one I'm thinking about. Oh, wait, never mind. Just disregard everything I just said. It says, in a test, SCP-682 was sent to an alternate Earth, and the alternate Earth responded by sending him back. Probably take myself right there. So, well, why would they try to give him to somebody else? If you think about it, now that Earth has to deal with two of them, right? Gotta keep that nice balance. Also, has 682 ever fought against himself, like from a different reality? Or do they kind of get buddy-buddy with each other because they both have more of an understanding of how they view things? Maybe there's a version of 682 that actually is a Thaumiel, or could be a Thaumiel, right? Like one that's actually beneficial, or works with the SCP Foundation in some form or fashion. In any case, though, that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, really does something a lot. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I do upload. And hit that dislike button if you don't like it. Leave me a little comment as to maybe what it was. That way, it can help improve the channel. Until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.